3. What up? Welcome to the podcast HASSDISCUSSES. We got KB back in the cut, Kold-Blooded.
What up? What up?
And what you been getting into? What shenanigans you been getting up to today, man?
Man, just wrapping this year up. You know what I'm saying? Like, freaking, COVID really done fucked up a lot of shows, but we finally got some rebooked and back on schedule. Schema Posse just did Los Angeles, very successful show. But it was kind of like a prelude because next year we're gonna have Sempra out here in the States, so we're definitely trying to bring all that together, type stuff. I went to the Versus.
You went there?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh my god, that's dope. That was in your town?
That was something I was waiting on most since I was a kid, bro. That was some shit I've been waiting on since I was a kid.
Yeah,
we used to have that debate back in the days. Who was better, Bone or 3-6? It was crazy.
Oh my god, man, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, like what'd you think of I'm not trying to ask not a non-generic question, but like, what was your favorite aspect like of the Versus?
Well, the biggest thing is and I'm not even no bullshit, because most folks would probably say, like, if you really know me, you'll know I'm a Bone Thugs fan, like, through and through. But I love both. But the thing is the thing I love the most about it all, and it's with any Versus, but this one particularly, is just everybody talking about him again. Bringing the relevancy back, bringing the legacy back, you got people looking up, well, why do people like them so much? Or what song are they even talking about? You know what I mean? It's bringing the old school into the new school. Everyone's running the streams up. Everyone's running the YouTubes up. It's a beautiful thing, especially for people I look at as my favorite artists. I never seen them all on stage at once. Not to mention the special guests were insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Seeing like an older, artist make hella moves. Like Project Pat, he's been making moves. Like he did a Dolph tribute song, I believe.
And there was I know that Bone Thugs' graphics guy did the graphics in the back with the rest in peace Dolph and all that. They during the Crossroads, they shouted out all the artists that had passed, Kobe Bryant and other people, Virgil Abloh, rest in peace, all that.
Yeah, that's dope. Like what's the
legendary show, epic.
Yeah, like what's the first Bone Thugs song you ever heard, like back then?
Oh man, I think I was just coming out of elementary or middle school type shit, and I heard the Thuggish Ruggish Bone on the radio in LA, and you just never heard nothing like it, especially like that fast. Like, you know what I mean? Like the fast flow, the melodic stuff, and definitely inspired me right then and then. Like I tried to memorize all their shit, and that's what led me to eventually want to write my own stuff.
Yeah. What about 3-6? What was the first 3-6 song you heard?
Now 3-6, that's kind of funny how this whole Versus comes about, because like I was reading an old like Source magazine or Double XL, because I used to read those all the time when I was younger. I think that's why I'm so well, like, knowledgeable in a lot of these things. But I heard that there was this group out of Memphis dissing Bone Thugs, saying they stole their style, and I just had to get my hands on something, and it took a while. It took probably like a year or so before I knew somebody that actually had a CD of 3-6 before I heard what they sounded like. And honestly, it was nothing like Bone, in my opinion. It was the dark themes were there, you know what I mean? But this is the first time I'm hearing like crunk and what people call now funk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get these mixes of Memphis and Texas and all of this, and that's why I say both groups, most influential groups of all time. Like most of the whole underground now and the scene now wouldn't be anything like sound wise without both of them. And that goes all the way to mainstream too. I mean, even the Wiz Khalifas and the Drakes, I mean, they'll tell you in interviews they're inspired by Bone Thugs, and then they do songs with 3-6 nowadays. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all rotating. You know what I mean? It's dope. I love that shit.
Well, that's the thing that people don't really understand about Drake, or they don't really take the time to understand, is Drake low key grew up in Memphis because his dad lived in Memphis. His dad was locked up in Memphis, and
Okay.
he would go to Memphis to visit his dad, and he would be on the phone rapping to people on through the jail phone, in that were like his dad's friends in prison. So he was
Oh, that's
always in
crazy.
Memphis, and he like met, I think it was like Yo Gotti, like at a very
Okay.
like really early on, like when he was like 15, because his cousin knew Yo Gotti and shit like that. So his
Okay.
cousins and his family, like you like the will always be in Memphis and shit like that. Like he has those one line. He was like it was like my uncle's summer home and Memphis, just some shit like that. Like that's he was very cultured, you know, back then and shit like that.
No, and man, anybody, I'm sure, like Memphis music, period, like from the oldies to like jazz stuff to, you know what I'm saying, to the funk stuff to like you know what I'm saying, the soul music, all that
Yeah,
stuff, and then you get the hip hop era, and then even now in the underground, you know what I'm saying. I'm a huge fan of you know, Sesh Hollow Water Boys and Xavier Wolf, Chris Travis, Black Smurf. Like I listen to all that stuff. Shout out to all them. You know, I don't know Jeffrey. You know what I'm saying. Almost everything out of Memphis bumps, bro. So much, man. Memphis definitely. I'm sure. I still have yet to go there. Crazy enough,
mm.
three tours, and I ain't been there yet. But I know when I go there with Jay Green, like I already know what's gonna happen over there because they like to, man, especially to his music, the crowd and every. I know I'm gonna soak up a lot of game out there. You know what I mean?
I have to visit. I have to like and
Yeah, no, me too.
see. Yeah, like that's one thing. Bucket list. Same with that in Atlanta. But you already been to Atlanta.
Yes, I've been in Atlanta a few times now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and shout out to C to 6 too. You know what I'm saying? We were actually supposed to do a show in Memphis with C to 6 once, but you know how that goes. They're some busy guys. You know what I mean? Like,
What label are they on now? They're on a label, right? Or some shit.
yeah, they're under their uncle. They're under DJ Paul. They're on Scalaton.
Oh yeah, cause there's Lil
Yeah,
Infamous who is
yeah, that's Lord Infamous's son, and
yeah.
then you know what I'm saying, his cousin DJ Paul's nephew, Loco Done It, and you know they were in Schema, and then you know eventually they built their movement from the ground up out there in Memphis, and then eventually kind of, you know, they like, I can't really speak for them on their business, but just from the Schema side of things, you know, they built up their sound, and then they eventually were able to get under their uncle and push, but they started their own movement first. They didn't like skip ahead like some people would. You know, some people might like use a family member to like just put out an album. Nah, they built it up from the ground up. That's one thing I respect about Loco Done It and Lil Infamous, like, because they were right there with us. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
And they have a lot of classic collaborations like with Schema members like
Oh yeah.
BGSD is a favorite. That's a favorite.
Yeah, and man, they did a lot of stuff with a lot of us. They still do. You know what I'm saying? Here and there. Locals produced for me. Um, you know what I mean? I know they still work with Cisco a lot, Bass Mafia. You know what I'm saying? Anytime I know that they go to Memphis or Detroit, I know like Cisco and them are clicking up with them, or AOZ's clicking up with them. And, you know, it's all love. You know, those guys, everybody's working. You know, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
I got a good question. If you were to do
What's
a
up?
tour, headline a tour, what three people would you have open for you on this hypothetical tour, or one that's already
Mm,
happened? Maybe I don't know.
like opening, like,
Yeah,
you know,
open
you're
for
talking
you.
about me as a solo artist or Schema Posse, like, you know.
Like, just what three artists would you have open for you on this tour?
Man, that's a rough one because, man, I always want to pull in everybody that I can because, you know what I'm saying, we all kind of look out for each other. But probably one of my schemas, of course, you know, somebody that's available to do whatever, a small tour, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, Probably one of the homies from Red Star, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Yeah.
Red Star. Yeah.
Yes.
You
I
know,
mess
I
with
know
them.
Omen 13 himself is a busy dude, but his whole crew is always working and always we always show each other love. They pulled up the other night to the show too. And we're always talking about what's next. You know, there's so many of us, it's hard to fit everyone on one show. So we have talked about doing smaller runs with like mixing it up with different people.
Yeah.
And like a third slot, man, I would love to bring whoever, but then again, it's like I don't know who would want to quote unquote open up for me, partake. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to put myself above anybody really, but
Yeah.
I would leave it open to somebody who's down, like a homie, maybe Nodis or the homie Sigil or Torchface or, people that I've worked with before in the past. I'm not really keen to working with too many new folks anymore because uh, the unpredictability,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's nothing personal either. There's a time and a place for everything. There's always, negotiations or plans that could be made. But if it were to come down to a tour, I would want to be surrounded by people I really trust. That's just from past experience.
I mean, look at what's going on right now with me and you. We were doing another interview because I've already had a good interview with you, and I'm doing it again because
Yeah, and I got a lot of good feedback. A lot of people told me they learned a lot from me. I'm not really one to brag about myself. I feel like I could talk too much. Well, this is the place to talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So appreciate you too, bro.
And you schooled me on a lot of stuff. You schooled me on Goody Mob and Dungeon Family.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And man, there's CeeLo dropped like a big album, I think, since we last talked.
He did. Oh man, let me go on Spotify right now, man.
I think so. I think he got some new soulful stuff that's up there.
But what's a song from the Dungeon Family or Goody Mob era that you could recommend?
Oh man, so Follow the Light from Dungeon Family. That's just, if you YouTube Dungeon Family, Follow the Light. It's got Outkast on it too, and Goody Mob and all of them. That's just some old school Outkast shit. You know what I mean? And songs like that, they're real soulful, but they got that Outkast beat. Speaking of Outkast, that's another big influence of mine. That's like, other aside from Bone Thugs, Outkast, I would even say is like my number two. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think anybody can go against them verses wise. They're just too unique. They have hits for days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's nothing for them. Hits is nothing. And like, just overall popularity, they got popularity all coasts. It's not just in the South. It's not just in the Midwest. It's not just in the West Coast. Everybody, hip hop loves Outkast. So I don't think anybody could really.
Yeah, like I think they were one of the first Southern groups to really get it popping. Maybe I could be wrong.
Well, in hip hop wise, for sure they were definitely up there. Ghetto Boys, probably Scarface.
No, you're right on that. You're right on that. Yeah.
And then 8 Ball and MJG, they had a big push back in the days. But they were all on major labels. Outkast kind of came on a major label, but I think they came in on like an underground,
more artsy.
The South was finally getting a little more play, instead of being just considered like UGK, Texas kind of South, or Miami dance kind of South. Atlanta had something different to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, Outkast is way more like artsy, in my opinion. Not
sure.
like they're not like. Sometimes like you can find this in more newer Southern rap, but it becomes a bit cheaper. Like newer Southern rap in certain aspects. But
Yeah,
Outkast was way more like
it's,
focusing on the instruments and like.
oh yeah, for sure. Like in production and in like artistry, Andre 3000 alone, he was doing things that a lot of rappers do now, as far as changing their hair and wearing different styles, different designers, different patterns, things that rappers would think is weird or
The dresses, I wouldn't hate on that, but it's just he was doing that a while ago.
At the time, it was a different time. People had a different mentality. We're getting past all that kind of stuff, and but he was judged for that, and now people celebrate that shit now. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. You know what I'm saying? He set that bar. He set that trend.
Yeah, and also just the way he wrote songs, like Hey Ya, like there's one guy who did an acoustic cover of it, and like it was like very sad, or then like the lyrics are very somber, but the song is very because the song is a very like, it's a touching song about, it's like if like Marvin's Room was set to the cadence of like Headlines.
Well, see, that's the thing I'll tell people about rappers who transcend like rap. You know what I'm saying? When they become full on musicians, but they have a rap background, they still put those layers of metaphor and subliminal and a little bit more than the average like songwriter. Songwriters normally like get straight to the point, try to make it catchy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But someone like Andre 3000, he's trying to make you think still, even if it's a pop song.
Yeah.
There's like levels to that fucking song. You know what I'm saying? That shit, and that's why it connects with so many different people, young, old, whether you like hip hop or not. You know, that's why he's a legend. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And even on just random features, it's always like something different. Like he was on The Real Her on the Drake album, and it's like he said he has these lines that are just so memorable. It's like, listening to Adele, I feel you, baby. Someone like you, more like someone unlike you, or someone that's familiar, maybe. And I can tell that she wants a baby, and I can tell, girl, that you're crazy, or what the hope. No,
yeah.
like it's just like it's always he's always bringing something to the table. But now you mentioned rappers transcending the musicians more so. What is another example of an artist that has done that successfully that you're always
Oh,
listening
I
to?
mean,
And
there's been quite a few now, especially with the rise of like, the DIY independent artists. A lot of people I know now are self-produced or,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So they kind of have this, because there was a time where rappers only rapped and songwriters only wrote songs and producers only made beats, and you know what I mean? But now you find this mesh of people who are just like slowly building into these self-sufficient,
yeah,
creating machines, you know what I mean? Um, I'd say, man, there's a few. I mean, from underground to, Jay Green, that's one of them too. Self-sufficient,
yeah.
crazy producer. You know what I'm saying? Can do any style. That's on the underground tip. Omen 13 is one of those too. You know what I'm saying? On a mainstream tip, like Kanye West, he's definitely. I mean, man, that dude went from people not even liking his raps to him being one of the top producers and most respected or hated, whatever you want to call it. Like,
Yeah.
he just transcended the average quote unquote rapper. You know what I mean? Like,
He's not closed minded, and that really helped him because
yeah,
he's been able to work with obscure European techno
yeah,
guys well,
yeah,
like Daft Punk or Gesaffelstein. Like he's looking in the darkest corners of the industry to bring someone out and put them
right.
on. You know.
Like, hell, and I'm not even saying it's bad to be just a rapper. Like, for myself, for years and years and years, I've pretty much just considered myself a rapper. That's what I specialize in. I slowly do other things, design, artwork. I'm slowly getting into beat making,
Yeah.
editing, all those sorts of things. But if I were to like say what my profession is, I say like songwriter slash musician slash rapper. I could rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you were posting about the new Bones project. What's the like you're just posting about on Twitter? I saw.
Yeah.
What's your favorite couple Bones projects released in the past 2 years that you've been listening to the most? Past 2 years.
I would have to say overall, if I can name any project, it would be Brace. You know what I'm saying? The one with Wolf. To me, I was waiting for Crater's Atlas. You know what I mean? Big fan of Bones.
Yeah.
Half the people, like, even before Schema, you know what I'm saying? Bones, just listening to Bones got me connected to so many people. You know what I mean? So his music, I cherish that shit. I listen to that shit a lot. Um, yeah, Brace would be the one though. It's more melodic. It's almost like a Surrender Dorothy and Master Flash Yen type album, but it's, Wolf and Bones at their finest. And I kind of feel like it's just something you can smoke to, something you can drive to. They got some 80s tracks on there featuring Eddie. It's just a mix of all the good stuff they've been doing. And it was during the lockdown. I think I listened to it like so much because I was just like, man, I couldn't go to shows anymore.
Yeah.
And I try to go to all their shows when I can. You know what I mean?
I mean, and you live in an area where they're doing hell shows. That you're in Vegas or is it LA?
So personally, like, yeah, I stay in Vegas, but I'm from Los Angeles and I travel there like all the time for business or family or friends. I know a lot of people out there for my whole life. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anytime good show, and it's also the best place to network. You know, that's why everybody want to live there. It's super
Yeah.
fucking expensive, and it's kind of ridiculous to like fucking spend all that money when you don't have to live like right there in Los Angeles. You can live like an hour or two away, and you'll still be able to like show up and do shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, and you're an example of someone who I don't know you if you've ever like you haven't ever really fully like you've been able to make connections there without fully living there. Like I mean, look at the amount of
Oh
people
yeah,
you've worked
yeah,
with. Like you're a good example. I'm
right.
telling you.
Right. It's nothing to, you know, like before the show or after a show or a meeting of some sort, go visit somebody or go to somebody's studio and just, you never know who's there. You know what I mean? And I think some people, you know, that's why they all want to move there and see who they could see. And then, but most of the time it's just like kind of passing through. Like I'm making music with people I know out there. You know, Jay Green was living out there for a while. He's back in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Zabe lives out there. You know, I might go out there to record something and somebody be like, hey, I'm over here. Come through, you know? So it's just easier.
Yeah, and I'm like discovering that because like I'm a young freaking lad. I just went to my first concert and I went to San Fran and I was recording raps and making beats with my clique and stuff like that. But I want to ask you, you know, I just went to my first concert. I want to ask, what was your first concert that you went to?
Ooh, that's a good one because I got in a lot of trouble. So I wasn't even allowed, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was giving me money to go to no concerts, especially back then. But I think one of my first major shows might have been if it wasn't Bone Thugs and Harmony, because I've seen them like man, like probably more than 30 times throughout my life, but um it might have been the Hard Knock Life, like Jay-Z, Method Man and Redman and DMX.
Oh snap!
And I think that was like super crazy, like back then. I remember not being able to go see Dr. Dre, Snoop, and Eminem. I remember that. I didn't get to see that. I was so pissed. Like, you
Mm.
know what I mean? Um, but yeah, that was one of the first. Then like years later, when I could actually like afford to like go to shows or you know do that stuff, I would always probably go to like Tech Nine or Bone Thugs or whoever was in town. But I would sneak into a lot of shows too. So man, I've been to hundreds of shows, bro. And eventually, I would know people who would just bring me. You know, I would just be smoking with people, chilling with people, because between Vegas and LA, if you just be at the right place at the right time, you know, you never know.
Yeah, it's very easy to make friends like just like in shows specifically or just going like out there. I made friends with someone
Mm-hmm.
in line of the Puya
Right.
concert and we just exchanged like I was hanging out with some like MILF and she was on Molly. Like there's always a fun story. You know what I mean? She had the
No,
whole
yeah, no, I
yeah.
love that whole experience. That's why I've been doing that shit my whole life. Like, it don't matter how old, man. I'll be doing this shit when I'm an old ass man, bro. Like, I'll be back there being like, yeah, these are all my favorite artists, all grown up. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. Like, I just like the experience, the energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Someone was online saying that like artists now do the roles that like shamans did back then where they're like playing with the emotions of the people that they're doing and it's like it's very
Oh
like
yeah.
it's so like it's very like spiritual and like quote unquote religious in a way like the same
Oh
way people would
yeah.
always go to church like hundreds of years ago we go to look at these poets. I think it's beautiful that we're in a time where poetry is so valued and I think I'm pretty grateful for that.
No, yeah, and that's what's up. I'm glad that you like mention it in that positive context because you know a lot of people try to put it in like a negative cult like context. Like it doesn't have to be all negative either. I mean, it's a balance to everything. So it's like you said, like there's certain music I listen to. That's my meditation. That's what keeps me from losing my shit. And that's their poetry. That's how they get through their shit.
Yeah.
And then like I just happen to be an artist myself, and that teaches me like, man, that's how I can like vent my problems and stress without losing my shit at some regular job or you know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't figure out, nah, like I had to create this space so that I can be like, you know, creating and kind of passing that energy along. If not, I shouldn't be doing it. You know what I'm saying? It'd be almost like selfish.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now, you're talking about like how like music can relax you and keep your mind in check. No, I find that in a lot with like instrumentals I'm listening to. Like I listen to a lot of like Space Ghost Perp instrumentals. What producers or instrumental tapes do you find yourself listening to a lot? Like just complete instrumental tapes.
Um, Not as many as I should because I respect producers so much. I know I probably said that in the last time we talked because I'm really big on producers I work with and all that. But I just listen to so many beats all day. I would just say any producer that has a beat tape, shit, send it my way. I'll probably end up listening to it at some point because I mean, I'm always looking for beats from good producers. So it's really hard for me to pick just like one artist that I would go to. The only one I could think of off the top of my head would be Grief or something like that, because that's such a well-known producer for Bones to really just like, and a lot of artists, Peep and Omen and anybody who's worked with him, like he just sets that tone. So his instrumental tapes, I know of probably a lot of people vibe off those without even needing lyrics on them, you know?
Yeah. I fuck with
Yeah.
Cat Soup too. If we're talking about people that work with
Oh
Bones.
yeah, shout out Cat Soup. You know, I worked with him a couple times. His beats, those all those sesh period. Like all those producers, you know, Drip 133 and Lyson, and
Yeah.
you know, I more than I could even name. Drew the Architect, all them. Shout out to all them. All their instrumental. I mean, from back in then even till now, you could
Dylan
just
Ross
go to
has
their
some good
sound.
beats.
You could always just go to their SoundCloud and
Yeah.
yeah.
Dylan Ross has some good beats too. And
Oh well, I mean that's not even a question. That's literally like one of the best in the underground. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, we don't want to talk about too much about everything else. But shout out to him and his as an artist. You know what I'm saying?
Bones really put in that work when he was coming up. Like the amount of people that he's collaborated with, like that he really put on. Like he kind of like he put on for like he put on for like hella people. Like he has a song with Slim Gorilla that was pretty fire. Do you listen to Slim
Oh yeah,
Gorilla?
a few times, and I had the pleasure of meeting him once on tour, but I didn't really want to like bother him. I don't know him like that. I know Jay Green knew him, you know what I'm saying, through Raider Clan. Um, but shout out to him. I've heard him on very dope cuts. You mentioned Dylan Ross. There was this one song, I think it was Ice, Ice something, or like it's Dylan Ross Slim Gorilla, but that shit's so hard, bro.
I'm gonna look it up and I'll listen to
Yeah,
it later.
it's like Ice something or Ice Cold or Cold something. It's just such a hard ass song. It's like
Yeah,
I should know this too because like I normally
Frostbite,
Frostbite. That's there it is.
because that's off the Iceberg Pimpin' project.
Iceberg Pimpin'. That's the tape. I'm about like the word ice came to mind for some reason. Yeah, like
Yeah, that's a
got
good
such a
one.
hard ass beat. That's just got such a hard ass beat, bro.
I think the intro to that's got Space Ghost Perp in it, which I love anything Space. I'm obsessed with Space Ghost Perp. But anyways, I want to ask you something. I don't know if you are a fan of battle rap, but have you ever gotten in a rap battle like as a kid or like recently? Like, have you ever like done that at all?
Um, I have friends who were in that circuit. Me personally, I probably got to get like really faded. Like I only smoke weed.
Yeah.
I only smoke weed or drink, but if I drank, I would have to probably drink a little bit in order to really like freestyle off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You know, I do the fast, speedy raps a lot, so I don't really freestyle that much. But I've been known if I get provoked or
Yeah.
if that ego takes over or some shit, you know, you could see it in the moment. Some people just kind of like, you know, but you gotta choose your battles wisely. You know what I'm saying? Know your opponent.
Yeah. You know.
Because
Yeah.
somebody could snap back on your ass and that's it. It's over.
Yeah. A lot of good artists got their start in battle rap.
That I think that comes from school or maybe getting caught up, maybe even going to like it, or you're just chilling in spots with people for a long period of time and you end up just rapping back and forth, clowning on each other, kind of just practicing. You know what I'm saying? Or just bored. Some people do it just because they're bored. You know what I mean?
Takes you back to those roast sessions at lunch or some shit.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, as far as battles like YouTube and stuff like that, and some of those like King of the Dot or those kind of things, like I don't know. a friend of mine told me some of it was scripted, and I didn't really like a lot of those artists outside of the battle stuff. So I kind of stopped paying attention to a lot of it. But shouts out to people who are really on top of it and they're got quick, witty punchlines. I mean, it's entertaining, that's for sure.
Yeah, but occasionally it can get like WWE. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, and there's some really talented ghostwriters behind a lot of that stuff. Not to give up the ghost, but you could tell some guy will come in and just have all the right lines, and then if he doesn't get that line off, he goes back and repeats it again. That kind of lets me know it was scripted. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Now, a lot of my favorite work by you is produced by Mr. Cisco. What's your favorite song that you've made that's produced by Mr. Cisco?
well, there's gonna be two because it's just two goals that I always had. The first one would be "Nothing to Lose" featuring Lazy Bone from Bone Thugs. That was something I never thought would happen in my lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And Lazy Bone looked out for me, and I even got to open up for him a couple of years later. You know what I'm saying? So that song alone just kind of solidified me as people, like a lot of people who kind of looked down on me or said I'd never do shit or whatever. That was kind of my big, I did it. You know what I mean? Um, and shout out to Mr. Cisco. That beat was made when we barely even really knew each other. And I told him, man, I might do something special with it. And things just kind of all came together around that time. The other one would be Mutilated featuring Xavier Wolf. And same reason, but for like more new school reasons. Like he's in my top 5 as far as the underground. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
he's so influential and he makes this shit look easy. But I know it's not. But
yeah.
he just does it so effortlessly sometimes. It's nothing but inspiration. You know what I mean?
Same with
Shot.
Bones too. Like, how many
Oh yeah.
projects did he drop? 5 projects already this year, man.
Yeah, and that's nothing, bro. I know my bro's got like over 70 easy or something like that. I would have to pull up my collections and shit, but yeah, like
Yeah,
just from the kid until now, you know what I'm saying? Just that work where I mean, I can't wait till I could say I got 50, let alone 70 or 100, you know what I mean?
I mean that's what Nem told me. He was like, I was asking him like, what would you tell a younger version of yourself as an artist or something like that. I asked him some question like that, and he was like, drop like an unhealthily large amount of music. You know?
Yeah, I think I'm getting up there to like between like old shit and new shit. I think I'm in like the 20 area now. But me, Nem, shout out Nem Schema. He actually came and stayed with me in
Ooh,
October for a
nice.
couple of weeks. Yeah, and we talked about a lot of that too, because I was showing him a lot of artists' big collections, like like mine, or even Bone Thugs, or even Outcast type stuff, or even like uh, even other Raider Clan shit and all that other stuff. And we were talking about, he was telling me about artists from Florida that I didn't really know too much about. You know what I'm saying? Getting me more into like the Metro Zoo side of things. I wasn't really listening to a lot of that at the time. Um,
Who do you put you on
but
to?
uh, just some random stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know it was what is it? Man, we listened to so much, and we made a whole new EP and shot like 10 videos and a whole
Oh
bunch of shit.
snap!
Like,
For what
yeah, we did
songs
part.
did you do videos for?
Oh, we did part 2 to Through the Smoke EP. We're dropping a part 2, and we did
That's
new
dope.
songs. We got Woofy on there. We got Simper on there. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got a bunch of new stuff coming. Zave is on there. Lil Zave is on there. Um, and then we shot a couple videos while we are out here for some of those songs. And then I think uh, we did. I think there's still an unreleased video from the last EP that might still be getting edited somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that he was posted up at a like Nemesis. He was posted up at a tattoo place slash studio. That is like, have
Oh
you? That looks dope. Like, I don't. It's in
yeah,
Brazil.
yeah, that's what's up.
Like, that's something. Or like that's. Like that's two things I really like. I don't have any tattoos as you can see, but I will one day. I will.
Oh yeah, I mean, I only got like three.
What type? What are they?
Well, main one is like the curse mark from Naruto. That shit.
Ah, nice,
Then I got another curse mark from another anime, Hellgirl.
nice.
And then I got my girl's initial right here on my wedding band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Um, but I'm just too picky. Like, I've
yeah,
wanted like 100 different ones, but I kind of just back out at the last minute, like, because I don't want to be having to remove that shit. Like,
yeah. I look at the videos and it looks like they zap you. They zap you with the thing, and it looks like it. I don't know how I
I heard
couldn't
it.
like.
I heard it actually hurts worse than getting an actual tattoo. So fuck that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
like tattoo doesn't hurt that much, but if you get it in certain spots, hell yeah, it hurts like a bitch sometimes. But like, I can only imagine something that hurts worse than that
Yeah.
because you got to get used to the tattoo pain. So something worse than that just sounds worse. Like,
Not everyone's like not everyone's like Coda and has like an entire chest
oh
full of
yeah,
them.
well that's one of them boys that love the ink. You know what I'm saying? He's good. He's not worried about it.
He shot a music video getting a tat. I don't know if you remember that. That was beautiful, man.
Yeah, shout out Coda. That's my boy right there. Mad love for Coda. We got it, man. We got a lot of stuff on the way, and the stuff we did this year is pretty dope. We did a few cuts this year.
I think you and him wouldn't have a really good EP together. I think it would be pretty dope.
Yeah, we're actually working on something like that. I got something going with almost every member of Schema, but we got to space these things out. You know what I mean? Because someone like me, I could, But look, that goes back to your original point. When NEM was out here, we were just talking about all the content that we got
Yeah.
and how going into 2022, I'm definitely probably going to be dropping more than I've ever dropped.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's for a lot of people too, just because it's that same thing. Just kind of flood the block. Why sit on it? You know what I mean? Like just more content.
Nem got me like he's always got some tricks. Like he told me about how to license my music and all that stuff, and I've made like hundreds of bucks off of licensing my fucking music.
Yeah,
Just because
that's
of
important.
Nemesis.
That's important, bro. That's important. That's if nobody tells you, you'll be missing out for like a long point in time. What if you did it for 6 more months or a whole year and you didn't monetize? You could lose out on all that.
All those royalties, like
right.
Yeah, and that's why like if you pay to get on whatever platform like Memphis 666, you can make money off of those views easily if you have your song that you paid to get on their license. So you're kind of like finessing Memphis 6. Sorry, Memphis 66. Like I'm saying some little trick that people that pay to get on your thing, but I'm just saying like artists do have
I didn't even know people paid to get on there. I know he's posted our stuff a few times. Shout out Memphis 666. I've seen him before.
That's love though. Damn, I didn't know that. Like that's love.
Yeah.
Shit. Like there's a lot of good like funk accounts. Like there's Purple Lane's a favorite.
Oh yeah, Purple Lane. Shout out Purple Lane. They always show love.
What music that you did not like as a kid do you like now? That you were hating on as a kid? Because when you
that's easy, bro. Man, my mom and my dad used to play nothing but country and like rock, and like shit like Phil Collins and you name it, bro. Like all that kind of stuff, bro. They used to jam that shit, bro. And I appreciate it all now.
Yeah.
I'm still not big on country in my life. I still have never heard a country song that really made me be like, now that's something I could listen to more than once. You know what I mean? But I respect all genres. If it's not my taste, doesn't make it better or worse than another's. You know what I mean? But I definitely gravitated toward hip hop since a kid. Probably because I heard so much rock and country and other shit. I just didn't want to hear that no more.
The Defiant.
But later on, like I went back and got into certain bands, certain things. You know what I mean? I appreciate it. And then I don't know if I mentioned it in the last interview or not, or the podcast, but like playing video games, watching animes, all that stuff. I listen to a lot of the J-pop. And it's funny to see K-pop's like really popular now.
Yeah.
And that's the Korean side of things. But I've always been, the anime openings and endings and shit like that. Like
So you like city
that's all
pop?
something like that, I guess. I don't know what people call it here and there. I just listen to what I like. If I hear something that catches my ear, I'll probably add it to the collection or look up the artist to see if there's anything else from that artist I like. And
Yeah.
back to what you're saying, like I'll go back and download Temptations or Earth, Wind and Fire, especially when I'm looking up like samples and shit to sample. Like I'll try to get into that artist and see, like, I'm sure that my favorite artist grew up listening to that. So what would it
Yeah.
be like to hear that album? You know what I mean?
City pop, I just mean like old Japanese pop music from the 70s and 80s, and there's
Oh yeah, then I probably sampled that or heard a lot of that. I just can't name any artists off the top of my head. You know what I mean?
a lot of it's like very like well done. Like there's one, I think it's the J. Cole song January 27th. January 27th or something like that. J.
Yeah.
Cole. Like there's always like good, and even the Kid Cudi song. You know that one song where it's like the dun 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 dun, the Playboy Cardi one.
Okay.
That the one that Xavier Wolf did like a rap
Oh
over
yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's like that samples a J pop thing, but
That makes sense because that's probably why Wolf was fucking with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because
yeah, he love
those
he,
kind of
yeah,
those kind of samples, man. That's the kind of stuff I always give Cisco. You know what I'm saying? Low
yeah,
key, I've given Cisco a lot of the anime samples he's done for people. That was probably because of me. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because me and Buddha Jones, we're from the same era, and we we know a lot of the older animes that folks might not have heard. You know what I'm saying? Or even
yeah,
like me, I'm the king of video game soundtracks.
yeah. When did you get into anime? Like what age and what anime did you start getting fascinated with?
No bullshit. It's funny that it's really popular now is Neon Genesis. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, I had friends that were like into Fist of the North Star, um, some obviously Dragon Ball. That's everybody's kind of like introduction to like animes and stuff. But you know, Ninja Scroll, that was a huge one back when I was a kid. Um, and that was kind of like I said, my friend got me into Neon Genesis, and that was like the first robot anime I ever saw. But
Mm.
I'm real picky about anime. Like, I need a dark atmosphere. I need like a deep, quick storyline. Like the only big serial animes I've ever watched were Bleach and Naruto and Dragon Ball. I can't deal with an anime that's longer than too many episodes. I don't have time for that
Like
shit.
One Piece, the 1,000
Yeah, nah.
episodes.
See, I can't start that ever. So I'm probably never gonna start that because I don't know if I'm ever gonna finish it. I'd rather finish a story than be waiting because I did that with Naruto for like 13 years.
Yeah, like I'm a simple man. I just like 5 seasons. I just like Breaking Bad. Like that's the type of shit that I watch.
Right. That's what I mean. If it has a beginning, middle, and end, that's a lot better than just trying to milk it and stretch it out. You know what I mean?
Are you a fan of Breaking Bad?
I was, yeah, I did. I loved it. I like how it ended. I was just telling somebody before I hopped on here. I still haven't seen El Camino though.
Yeah.
And I didn't I didn't really like Better Call Saul. Everybody says it got better later, but I really couldn't get into it. It was moving way too slow for me compared to the original, you know.
It's I think the first couple seasons are alright, but I think that they're missing out on an opportunity because they want to like structure everything like cool. They're missing out on an opportunity to show what happens after Breaking Bad for Saul. I feel like they should devote an entire season to that, and I feel like they're just like, you know how they're just cutting it to the black and white and shit. Like they're just being
Yeah.
too chill. Like sometimes it's like these movies or shows are way too subtle and they think they're smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then I understand if they got these big plans and things are going well, they might be holding back for the next season or next season. But sometimes I think like the fans kind of suffer at that because it's like we don't
Yeah.
know what's about to go on. And if you guys decide to cancel it or never mind, then we're left with this shitty ending or something, like
You never know what could happen to a show. Like, look at Empire. Like that, it got cut
I love
off.
that show, bro. I love that show for so like up to a certain point, and then it really did just become this crazy soap opera, and somebody's trying to kill this person and that person, and then I was just I can't keep up with it no more.
Yeah, like what was that called? The Terrence
Terrence Howard,
yeah, that movie with the 3-6 Mafia. Like, if you want
Hustle
to,
and Flow.
yeah, like if you don't want to watch Empire, just watch that movie and you'll probably get the same thing out of it.
Well,
Maybe.
no, and that's kind of what got me into Empire. It was almost like a loose continuation. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
people talk like it was almost like, well, what if he had actually built a whole record empire and now as artists and all this kind of shit? Like, and there was a lot of dope cameos on there from Petey Pablo to Mariah Carey to, you know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of people.
On we were just talking about two things that are connected. The skinny guy from Hustle and Flow that made the Whoop That Trick beat, he was in
DJ Qualls,
the skinny white guy.
DJ Qual.
That's his name.
I think that's his DJ name, DJ Qualls or some shit like that.
Yeah, he was in Breaking Bad. He was an undercover cop, and he arrested Badger.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I was watching it like, and he was like,
I don't remember that for some reason. I know he was in that movie New Guy when he was
oh,
he was
man.
that like he was that nerdy dude who like he turned into like a punk kind of dude and went to another high school.
Bro, he has like a bunch. He had like a lot of funny lines on Hustle Flow. He's like, the only bitches I know is dudes or some shit like that. Like that shit. That shit was funny, and that's a good fucking movie. Hustle and Flow is like a really good movie. That's just inspiring. Like, there's certain movies that you watch
Oh
that just
yeah.
inspire.
Hey,
Like what movies like inspire you to like just do shit? Like either
well,
it's a movie about
that's
music.
definitely one of them, and I'll even tell people like to me, music wise, that movie is a little more inspiring than say 8 Mile, because like 8 Mile's cool, but the ending's kind of fucked up. Like his life don't change just because he won the battle. He
Yeah,
still goes. He like it ends with him with his head down, like, "Hey, you did it," and he's like, "Yeah, but I gotta go to work tomorrow," and blah blah. And like us as the audience know, like, "Oh, he went on to become Eminem," you know, congratulations. But the
yeah.
shit ended like, yeah, you could win the battle, but you still really ain't got it. Like, to
Still got a war.
how did he end up in the studio with Dr. Dre? You know what I'm saying? Like, were you gonna win battles until you win another? You know what I'm saying? But Hustle and Flow kind of shows, like I said, that beginning, middle, and end. Like, you know, you see him. Oh, your song's playing on the radio, and so when he gets out of jail, you know, it's like, oh shit, my shit's blowing up. Like,
Kind of like Tommy Wright, where like was arrested like earlier in his in the 90s or some shit, or like even Project Pat, like he made a bunch of
yeah,
music, and I didn't ask him about this in my interview because he said this shit in like a Vlad interview, but yeah, like Project Pat, he made like his first tape with like a bunch of the classics, and then he went to jail for like X amount of years, and then he came back to like the whole 3-6 like completely blowing up and shit like that, and then
oh yeah, and then they remade like a lot of those classic songs were on his first major album, but
yes,
they were all remastered so fucking clean, bro.
yeah,
Like, and then
same with 3-6 though too, like
yeah, he was there at the verses. It was amazing. Project Pat, first time I ever got to see him perform. I've only seen 3-6 Mafia one other time in my life at like this college show with and it was only DJ Paul, Juicy J, and Crunchy Black during that era when it was just those three, the most known unknowns or whatever. And so yeah, seeing Project Pat, shout out Project Pat, that shit was legendary, bro. He's definitely a big influence too. Like, I listened to that first tape of his, that
yeah,
Getty Green.
yeah,
That Getty Green. I listened to that shit a lot growing up. Bone Thugs is on that album too. That's the first time they ever had a song together outside of their old beef.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Now I want to tell you something that he told me off camera. It's nothing, no
Okay.
secret type of stuff. It's just like a cool point that he made. So I'm from Delaware, and Delaware has never really had a huge rap scene. And I was
Okay.
explaining this to him because he was like, "Yo, Mike, where you from?" type shit. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm from Delaware and shit like that, but we never really have gotten like a big scene like that." And he was like, and he was like, "Michael, I know why, because people in New York, which is the epicenter of East Coast rap at the time or when rap was starting, they only
Hip
really
hop.
yeah, hip hop. He said New York, was always focusing on which borough is better than the other one. And they never took the time to reach outside of their city to go to other states around and focus on them and build them up around them. Where the South, they're more open to working with people in other states, other cities.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why the South is as big as it is now, is because they were able to like lose all the beef and stuff like that and work with people in other cities and build a big community up around them. Because he said like people in the South, they'll work if you throw them some bread and you're a nice guy, they'll work with you and stuff like that. And that was like such a edgy, like that was like good fucking point that he made. Because like people in New York though, even to this day with the drill shit, they're always like, oh, you from like Brooklyn, like it's just like, you know what I mean?
No, the 5 boroughs, and you know, shout out to them, because that just goes back to the history of hip hop and battling and DJ battling and rap battling. And so it really was kind of like centered for so long, I'm sure, you know, because I mean, shit, by the time it gets all the way to the West Coast, shit like changes of environment, changes of influence, changes of like what's on the radio at that time. You know, I'm pretty sure just like, you know, back then and now, certain songs probably like locally or whatever were being played on different parts of the country at different times. So, you know what I mean? I could definitely see that. But one thing I'll say about the South, that's one thing I learned at a real young age, that's what kind of influenced me. Like even being on the West Coast, you know, all we would hear is like Snoop Dogg, Tupac, DJ Quick on the radio all day. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that you don't like it, but you kind of get tired of it, because I mean, you hear it every day, all day. So when you hear something different, you know, that's what really starts being like, oh, well, where are they from? You know what I mean? And there's this one CD that I had came across probably when I was like in high school, late 90s, and it was E40 put it out, but it was called Southwest Riders, and it was a double disc, and he put together all these people from the Midwest, the South, and the West Coast all on one compilation. And that's what introduced me, before the internet was really like something I utilized for music, you know what I'm saying, when people are still buying CDs and shit like that.
What's it called?
Southwest Riders by E40.
Man,
and it's a double, and it's got so many artists from Mystical to like, you know, Spice One, Twista. It's got UGK on there. It's got like, and that's when I had learned that like, wow, the South works with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like
Jay-Z, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, they got the Talk Shit 8-Ball and them. Yeah, that's a good one.
Right. I was introduced to so many artists I never even heard of. I'm like, they don't play none of this on like LA radio, Vegas radio. You know what I'm saying?
This is man. They have Pimp C produced some stuff on this, or he's got a song on it. I'm looking at the Wikipedia. This is dope.
Yeah,
man.
Definitely something that like I think that CD alone. I want to go back to that. Like I'm so inspired by that album even to this day. Because man, if I could plan it to where, you know, Schema Posse, Red Star, maybe Sesh Hollow Water Boys, maybe even some of those other guys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you know, yeah.
I might want to do something like that. Like I'm making all the beats. Like I might do a DJ mix or something. Like that's
right,
what I'm
DJ Khaled, P Diddy, they Jermaine Dupri, these guys. Like this is something that I think we should bring back. The mixtape shit, the compilation shit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many dividing lines when it comes to either labels. You know, that's we ain't got no, like a lot of this shit ain't like, there ain't nobody telling me I can't work with so and so or do a track with so and so, so why not? You know?
Yeah, there might be politics, but like that's all just who he said, she said, and it's not like posted about like thoroughly. Like there's not a lot of like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
hell, half the shit, man, especially nowadays, half the shit like ain't nothing real serious. Half the shit can be all fixed in like 2 phone calls. You know what I'm saying? Like just people gotta get serious. You know what I'm saying? Like.
And I've gotten the phone calls of blah, 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 complaining about blah, blah, blah in the underground because I'm the media guy. And they're like, yo.
Some people just, the thing is like, some people want to get their point across or their opinion across. That's cool. You know, that to each their own. You know, but sometimes this isn't the place for all that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. That's why like some people call me and they're like, "Yo, let me get on your podcast," and it's like 1 a.m. and I'm like, bro, I don't want to just get
Yeah,
you on just to hear about some beef. It's like,
that's more about
oopsie, you
that's
this.
something people have to learn over time. That's just professionalism. I mean, you ain't gonna get far or nowhere talking to people just like all willy nilly, like however you want. You got to be show some respect, or else you ain't gonna get it. Like,
Yeah, that's why like even if I hear some blah 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 thing about another person, like I'm not gonna let that like stop me from meeting this person myself and getting my own seeing for
oh
myself what
yeah,
this person's about. You know
oh
what I'm
man,
saying? Like
I
that's
done heard it. Trust me, I done heard it from all angles, bro. Just because I know this person, or you see me chilling with this person. Oh, how could you? Or you don't know that person's an asshole, or whatever. And it's like, not to me. That's not my experience. That might be your experience, but and it's not even about clout or bragging or any of that shit. It's more about how you conduct yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I walk in a room, I know who I know and I know who I can talk to if I need to, get, you know what I'm saying? Like, whether it's friendly, business, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just how you conduct yourself.
exactly, bro. This was a
Yeah.
fucking. This is a good interview. This is another good one. I actually kind of like this a bit more.
More comfortable with you this time, bro. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
noticed,
exactly.
and,
Yeah,
and you're getting better at what you do. You've been talking to so many of us. I could tell you kind of, you know what I'm saying, really getting in the groove. Because when you're first, we never talked before that first one, so there's kind of that like nervousness or like,
yeah,
plus we're recording it, so you don't want to sound like you know what I'm saying?
yeah, bro. Now, you got anything you want to announce about like your music or anything else before we wrap this up?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just man, Schema Posse. If they ain't seen it, just they know it. We working like crazy. We got a lot more planned. You see a lot of shows in the works. I got projects still lined up. Me and Mr. Cisco dropping a project. Me and NEM is dropping a project. Um, Me and Big Los. You know what I'm saying? We've been working on something still. I'm still trying to perfect that. I got a lot of collabs that I want to talk about, but I'm gonna kind of keep them as a surprise because
Yeah,
I'm just really hyped that people are kind of getting in the back of groove of working again. This whole still having to have your vaccine or your shots or your test to
yeah.
fly and do all this has really been a setback for a lot of us as artists. So I'm just happy to say we got a lot coming out in 2022. Jay Green's working on a new project. It's been a while since he's dropped a project. A lot of us schemas are involved. Schema Posse is gonna drop some new stuff. We got a lot of videos on the way. Just be on the lookout for all that shit, man. Appreciate you too, bro.
Of course, man. Thanks for coming on the show, man. Really appreciate it. And of course, link in the description to your Instagram and music. And peace out.
Yes, sir.